100% like go to therapy, and a therapist is like a personal trainer. You try them out until you like them. So keep going, find your person, stay there, heal.
Welcome to Love Stories, a relationship podcast for successful women, where we talk about love, dating, relationships, and how great love stories are made. Whether you're searching for the one, you're madly in love, or simply curious about romantic relationships, this podcast is for you. I'm Charlene Byars. Each week, you'll hear from women, couples, and experts, and all the ins and outs on how to create your own love story. I am so passionate about this subject, and I'm so excited to share all the things that you can apply to create a beautiful love story of your own. Cheers to great love. Welcome back to the Love Stories podcast. I'm your host, Charlene Byars. I want to talk to you this week about a upcoming workshop called How to Date Well in This Modern World. And this will be a 6-week live workshop on a Zoom. And we're going to meet weekly for 6 weeks with just a smaller group of ladies, because I really like to keep this intimate, because we're definitely going to have some Q&A. And what's going to be happening in the 6 weeks, I'm going to be going over what I created, which is called the Aligned Partner Attraction Formula, which actually focuses on 4 principles: activating relationship polarity, getting free of past relationship patterns and reframing limiting beliefs, embodying your feminine essence, and conscious dating the fun way. We are going to be going over this in the 6 weeks. And what I like about that, as we get to do some deep dives in all those areas, we also will have that time to do Q&A. And usually, you know how that goes. If one person asks a question, a lot of the other ladies are really wanting to get that answer anyway. So that's where we're going to be going. So if you're interested, please reach out to us at charlenebyars.com. And let us know, and we will send you out the dates, the details, the price, and all the information that you need to know. I love to see you there, so definitely reach out if you're interested. And it's for ladies that are having a hard time, in this dating world and what to do, what not to do, and you're just not really finding the right guy. So this workshop is for you to be able to attract a man that is the right fit for you. So if that sounds awesome, this workshop's for you. Love to see you there. Okay, let's talk about the tip of the week. The tip of the week is communicate clearly. And what I mean by that is actually be direct and clear in your communication, because masculine men, they appreciate straightforwardness and true honesty. So there's no need to not really be with your feelings and how you're feeling and your needs and your wants, because that's really important. And it's really important to be direct. It's really important to explain how you're feeling. And so don't hold back on that, okay? Communication is key. So let's go ahead and talk about, and then I just want to say one other thing. If you are liking those tips of the week, please reach out to us, because we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you're liking. We want to hear what you want us to talk about. And we like to go from there. Okay, so let's talk about our next guest. Our next guest is Jordan Reynolds, and she is a dedicated fitness instructor and a personal trainer with 13 years of experience. Her passion lies in helping women achieve optimal gut health, simplifying healthy living, and empowering them to feel their best. After healing from previous toxic relationship, she met her husband online in 2019, and they have been happily married for almost 2 years. Together, they enjoy traveling, spending time at the lake, hanging out with their rescue dogs, and staying active throughout with workouts and all kinds of activities. And I am so excited for you to hear about how Jordan was truly able to go from toxic relationship to changing everything. And you're going to hear an extraordinary story how she finally decided to get some help and therapy and how that actually changed her life. And she went from those toxic relationships to finally meeting and attracting the man of her dreams. So I'm so excited for you to hear this interview. And no further ado, Jordan. Well, hello. Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
Hi, hon. I am so excited that you're here today. And I just want to let you know, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on this podcast today and able to share your love story with us and where you come from and how it all came about and what you do. And I really feel that like your story and what you're going to provide for our audience is really going to touch a lot of women. So I really appreciate that. And I think what we're going to do is let's start from there. Okay. Let's start from there. Where did it, when it came to, I remember you and I had like a little talk before. And I know that, you're married now and you have, a great love story. But let's take me back, Jordan. Take me back prior to where you at now and like even take me back from when you were younger. Like what did you used to think about relationships and what was your dream growing up of relationships and where you're going to go and all those good things. So let's just start from there. How's
Yeah,
that sound?
that sounds great. Yeah, I think when I was younger, like every other girl, I really wanted my like fairy tale. And then I think, whenever life happens, you just think maybe that wasn't something that was for me. Maybe it's just something that is just made up, honestly. And so, really, it came down to I had really bad relationships from pretty early on. And it really stemmed from self worth, not really holding myself to a really great standard and then just really going for guys that were just easy. And I was like, okay, they're all right, they're all right, it's fine, like it's fine that they do all these horrible things, but at least I'm with somebody. And so I found my worth a lot in relationships, and I kind of was always in a relationship, and it kept going into my early 20s where I think I shared with you on our call that I was engaged before I met my amazing husband. And yeah, it was crazy. I met,
Let me ask you this before you even before you even get into that. I know you were engaged before.
yes.
When you grew up, were your parents married? Like, were your parents stayed married? Were you come from a divorced family? How was your parents' relationship when you grew up?
My parents are still together. There was a little part whenever I was 18 where they almost split up. So that was really hard to deal with, but it was really great getting to see them fight for their marriage. And they've been married now, I think, for 28 years.
28 years. So
Hmm.
then you grew up in a environment that you did see, like, the husband and the wife stay together and everything. So where do you think that came from with yourself when you went out, started like dating and going out in the world? Where do you think that came from? Where did that start at, Jordan?
Um, Well, I got into fitness because, I was a little curvy girl growing up and I was bullied. And so that's really how I got to become, a fitness instructor. But I think that really probably is where it stemmed from was I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel, good about myself because I was kind of a target in middle school, like a lot of girls are. And I think that just kind of started, the spiral. I started looking to a lot of different things for worth and self-value, honestly.
And then that's how. So okay, so take me back. So you grew up in an environment that you did see, a healthy, loving relationship, and even though they went through a moment in time, and then what you're telling me is, and then as you were growing older, you really struggled with like, which majority of us do, us women, right? We struggled with like our body image and ups and downs. Like I always felt the same thing that I was kind of up and down with my weight, and you believe that that really started your journey on picking the kind of like the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I know you're married now, but you have a great story of you were engaged before. So not only so before you were engaged with him, did you have any other serious relationships? What was your love life, your dating life before?
It was a nightmare. Total nightmare. I always dated the bad boys, and so that was my thing.
Right. You like the bad boys. And what was it about those bad boys, Mama?
I think it was just fun. You never really knew what you were gonna get, how good or bad that sounds.
It was exciting. It was
It was
exciting
so
until it
fun.
wasn't exciting anymore. And then you found out what? Okay, this is not that much fun as time goes by.
Yeah, you found out, oh, I don't know where they're at. Oh, they're talking to the entire church. My bad. I thought we were
Oh,
dating.
yeah, yeah. You're like, oh, what happened? Okay, so then what happened? So now you're dating. You're not having the best of luck with guys, and then you meet this other guy. You meet the one prior to your husband. So then you get engaged. So what happened there?
Yeah, it was probably the craziest thing ever. And if there's any mamas on here who have daughters, you're probably like, oh my gosh, no. That's how my mom was. They were freaking out. So I met this guy online, and within 3 months, it was fast, furious, super intense. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't live without this guy. And we were engaged and living together within the first 2 to 3 months that we were together.
What was it like? Okay, tell me like for with this one particular. When you just told me it was fast and fierce, and you already had this history of you liking the bad boys. Did he present like a bad boy in the beginning, or did he present different than the other ones? Like what was going on with him?
He wasn't as obsessed with me as the other ones. And so I was like, I don't really like that. So it made me try harder. And, slowly but surely, there were some little weird things. Like, for instance, my
Like
brother
for
was
instance,
getting,
yeah, I want to hear all the little weird things.
I
Yeah.
got you. There's a lot of
Okay,
weird ones.
girl. Like let's. I want to hear like you're meeting this guy and he's like you just said he's not chasing you as the other ones, but you start like the little red flags, the little whispers. What was happening, Mama? Like what was it something that you were feeling or just if something was getting off? That's what I want to know. I want women to hear this part.
It was weird. One of the first ones was my brother was getting married, and he just up and left the rehearsal dinner, and then wouldn't respond to text messages.
The guy that you were dating. What
Yeah,
the? So what'd you
weird.
do?
I mean, eventually I was like, man, maybe this guy's just weird. But eventually he was like, hey, I was playing a joke on you. I'm at Lake Hefner. Like, come meet me. Let's hang out. It was weird. But I was like, oh, okay. Maybe he's just, I don't know, didn't want to be around people. So I went, hung out with him. And then it
Okay,
just,
okay, 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 okay. Question. What do you think it was for you when you had that? Like there was that part of you. You're like, okay, something's weird. But did you have a tendency like before, just kind of ignore that little like? Was it like a feeling like? But
it was
okay,
like a
maybe
feeling.
like you kind of talk yourself out of it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's just because I didn't have trust in myself to, see things. And I was like, oh, it's fine. It's
You're
fine.
like, oh, it's fine. Okay. So then what happened? So then you're like, okay, it's weird. Now you're going, you go and meet the guy at whatever the other place that he was at, and then what happens?
Yeah, I mean, then we're just pretty solid. We were dating, going on dates, staying to each other's houses, and there would be weird things that would happen. He got very jealous really easily with people that I'd never even dated, and he would go on these massive tangents about them just randomly. On the way to church one morning, he got into it with me about a guy that I hadn't seen in years, and it was interesting. There were these long tangents, and then it
Long
always
time.
led
What would you
me.
do? Like when he was having honesty in a tangent. I mean, what? How did that make you feel? Like what were you actually feeling at the time at those moments? I really like to know. Like, put yourself back there. Like, what was it for you?
For me, it was I can't lose him, and I have to do whatever I have to keep him because he's like my person. It felt like I couldn't live without this guy.
Oh, girlfriend, that must have been just crazy. So one hand, you're telling me, you're like, okay, I I feel like this is my person. I can't live without him, but your body is screaming, okay, something your body's right. This is do you know how important this is for other women to hear this? Because this happens all the time. We we go by like what we think is true or not true, but often our bodies are already telling us, girlfriend, something's up. And as women, and no fault to any of us, we've all been there. And we don't honor that feeling. We don't honor that feeling. We just kind of allow ourselves to keep going through. Okay, so mama, so you kept going through. You're like, okay, Charlene, this is, maybe I'm just insecure. Maybe something, maybe it's me. So the guy's throwing a fit in the car. You're getting to the church, and then you just have to like put on a little face and like everything's okay. And then what happens? So now you're dating for how long when things started really taking a turn that you weren't aware that it was going to take?
It was after or a little bit close to when we were engaged. So probably about 2.5 to 3 months in. Things started to get really bad once we were engaged. He started working really late. Found out he was having an affair with his coworker, one of many.
Mama.
This guy was
Okay,
fun.
okay, okay, okay. Hold on. Let me back this up. We're gonna back this up a little bit. Okay. So
Uh,
now you are dating. So you got engaged really quickly, you said, right? So
yeah,
you're dating this guy for how long until you got engaged? 3 months, you told
probably
me?
3 months.
About
Yeah.
3 months. Okay. So about dating the guy for 3 months. Now you're engaged. Now he's really like there was some whispers, but then there was also some good stuff with him happening. And now he's really turning and you're engaged with him. What was going on at the time also with your career and with your health? Because I know that a lot plays in part with what you do now for your health and your gut health. So where were you at that moment when you're in that engagement period with him? How was your
So
health and how were your business? Were you getting into what you're doing now or like where were you with that?
I was already probably about 4 years into my business, and it was doing really, really well. And he was supportive, but he didn't really get it. He was just like, okay, that's cool, whatever. And then my health actually started to like decline because all my time was like propping him up and walking on eggshells and, just trying to keep him interested in me. And I also started birth control during this because my mom was like, "Dear Lord, whatever you're doing, like, just don't have a baby."
Wait a minute. So that's
So,
okay, that's fascinating.
yeah,
So
yeah.
okay, so there was something in you that even though you were moving forward, there was something in you that you're like, okay, wait a minute. I don't know. Is this really going to be the man that I'm going to have be the father of my child? So is that where it started for you? Where you're like something's because if I have to think of getting birth control, because was it like that? Were you thinking, I don't know if I want to get pregnant with him?
It was in the back of my mind for sure. It was. I had some doubts, but I thought, you know what, just like shove those. But my mom mainly was like, just please, because I moved in with him really quickly.
You did,
And so
and so what was going on with your family? What were your family thinking about this? Were they seeing the signs before you? Were they saying anything to you? Because that's one thing I always tell people. I've said, if you're dating someone, definitely get them in front of your people because your people can see stuff that we can't see when we're falling in love, right? I
falling
call
in
it
love.
the critical thing, like our thinking just shrinks and we fall in love and we're not really thinking straight. So what happened with your family? What were they saying? Were they like, something's up with this guy?
Basically, my mom was like, this guy's not normal. There's something off. Like, are you sure that like he's where he says he's at? Like, and yeah, but they, could only say so much because I was in it.
You were in love. You were like, no, this is it. This is it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were blinded. Yeah, like this is it. This is it.
this is
But
it.
she knew. But your mom knew. What did it make you feel when your mom when they were doing that? Were you pushing on them? Okay, so you didn't even give her an opportunity to really step into that with you. Okay.
No.
Because your mindset was completely different than where your mindset was. Like you said, your mindset was you weren't having the security and the confidence that you do now as a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, what happened? Okay, so now you're with the guy. Tell me the story. Okay, so now you're with the guy and he's getting really weird and things are off. And then how do you find out? Seriously, how did you find out that the guy was already cheating? What happened?
So I think it was about 2 months after that. We were engaged for about 2 months. The relationship was quick, but if you're that toxic up and down, it can last. It can impact you for years. So I was living with him. There were always weird things. He started working really late, started commenting about my appearance. Intimacy went down. We like didn't do that anymore because he said I was not attractive. Yes.
Holy moly. So not only that this guy in the first was Mr. Exciting, passionate, all that kind of stuff you guys are having, passionate sex, things are good. Then all of a sudden he says, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, he said that you're not as attractive as you used to be, so I'm not really wanting to have sex with you anymore. I had gained weight from birth control and probably from stress. So,
Stress, of
yeah,
course. Of course, yeah. So
yeah,
you're like, hello, what do you think's going on? I don't even know what's going on with myself. Okay,
yeah.
what happened after that? What did you do with him after that?
I mean, it made me kind of want to change and go back to the girl. He said, "You're not the woman that I fell in love with anymore." And so I was like, let's go. I'm going in the gym. We're going to diet, all the things. And I'm like, I'm going to do everything I can to show him that, like, I am that person. And so it is very manipulative and everything.
Very manipulative.
Yeah.
Very manipulative is making sure that he's putting it on you, but in the all along it's really him.
Hmm.
That's crazy. Okay, so what happened then? So now you're with this guy and things are not looking good. You are now finding yourself gaining weight, feeling stressed, not happy, not having sex with him anymore, feeling very insecure. Where do you go from here?
I mean, I did what every woman usually does when they're sketched out. I went through his phone and I found, and I'm not kidding y'all, hundreds of messages to women. Hundreds. Before me, mind you. But I did find out where he had been, which he'd been with his coworker. Which a little bit later, still I stayed with him. I was like, maybe it's me, maybe I'm just being weird. And when I
Because you were in
confronted
that
him,
mind for what was going on. That was probably the hardest time, right? Because you were in such a what what mind frame would you say you're in? Like if you had to describe it now, like what do you think it was for you?
I think I was devastated,
You
honestly.
devastated. Were you
I was
actually in
absolutely
shock
devastated.
because he
Yeah.
was such a good bullshitter? Probably
Oh,
he
yeah.
was probably a master manipulator. Okay, so you have a master manipulator. So they are doing things that's making you feel weird, but they're also saying stuff that makes you feel like, okay, they're into me, right? Okay, so
Oh,
now
yeah.
you find yourself gaining the weight, like I said, not feeling good with this guy, and then where does it go from here? So you're looking at the phone. What the hell do you do?
I mean, I waited for him to get home, confronted him, and I was like, what is this? And then he was like, well, I haven't really been into you for a while. And he finally told me
Oh,
that
he
he,
did not put it on you. Oh, hell no. Okay.
yeah, he did.
Okay, so he's gaslighting. He's like, "Oh, I haven't been in with you for a while." So he's telling you, so you're telling him, "Okay, listen, obviously blah blah blah." How long did you stay with him after that? What was the time frame from when you saw the stuff, when you're thinking, "Okay, I'm going to stay with him because I'm not sure if this is really true," or you believed it's true, or you still thinking it was you?
I was still thinking it was me, honestly. Um,
Okay, because he's like totally like still like mind games with you, right? Okay, got you. And then what happens?
so then, I was at my mom's and we were supposed to go to a concert that night. I still think that it was God.
Oh yeah, I
Love,
want to hear this
love him.
story. Yeah, I want to.
And
Yeah, tell me what happened here. Okay,
I
so
bought
you're in
these
this
tickets.
funk with this guy. You're freaking
Yes.
out, and then what was the moment that you knew? Done. I am done. I can't do this anymore. Something's wrong. Okay, so you're at mom's. Take me there.
It was that night. We were supposed to go to a concert. I bought these tickets. I remember buying them. I actually could never find them. The money never came out of my bank. I can't find the receipt for it. And so that's what started the night that I decided to leave for the first time because he finally admitted that he was like sleeping with his coworker. And then it just felt like a tornado from hell from there. There was like physical altercations that night. There was just,
Oh, so he got violent too.
oh yeah, it was very violent. And then
Wow.
eventually I got to my phone and messaged my two best friends. And I said, I don't know what's going on. My parents aren't home. This is the address. Like, please call the cops. I can't. Like, I don't know what he's going to do. It was bad.
Oh,
It was really bad.
I am so sorry. And what happened then? So then were you able to? Did you get him out of there? What happened?
Well, I was going to run because I was like, okay, I could probably go hide somewhere, but he didn't have his weapon on him, and I had my dog with me, and I honestly stayed for my dog. And so once I got, confirmation that they had called the police, I like waited downstairs with a knife, and I was like, if you're gonna try anything else, like you're not gonna make it out. I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
done.
It's kind of. Was it? You felt it, obviously you're in a situation that it's either your life or my life at this point.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how it was. It was
You were
wild.
thinking, this is
And
it. I don't even know if I think this man's about to kill me.
mhm.
Wow.
He'd already been choking me. He'd already like pushed me into a wall, got physical. It was like crazy. So,
I don't know, and that was probably what the first time you've ever like had physicalness with a man.
looking back, there was one other time with him, but this was the time I could
This was
actually
different,
recognize
right?
it. Yeah, it was
Okay.
different.
This was different. Okay.
Yeah.
So you get out.
Yeah.
You get out. And you go back or you don't go back?
I was my parents are gonna see this and kill me.
They're not gonna kill you.
2
You know
weeks.
why? Because it's your
2 weeks.
story, and what is I'm telling you, this is so relatable, Mama, to so
Yeah.
many women. They need to hear this. They need to hear how we find ourselves in these situations, and really, the reality is like we look at ourselves and we're like, "How did that happen to me?
Yeah.
How did that happen to me? And what can we tell women today with your story so that doesn't happen to them?" Because what I hear very clearly early on, what you were saying to me, there were the freaking signs. It
Oh
was
yeah.
us ignoring the signs. Okay, so then you get out, and then what happened? So you go back. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. I mean, you're not with him anymore, so the story's
Yeah.
gonna be
The
we're gonna
story's
keep
good,
moving
guys.
forward.
It is
Yeah, it's
well.
gonna be good, ladies. Don't worry. She's not with the guy. She actually
No, we're
made a
good.
great guy. So hold on, give her a chance.
Yes. I went back after 2 weeks. I changed my phone number. Then I ended up giving him my phone number I changed it to. Stayed with him for a little bit longer. And then I found more stuff in his phone that he was now moving on into like porn stars and talking to them. I don't know what they were doing, but that was when he was moving, thank God. And I was like, you know what? I'm done completely. And we have spoken since, and it's been since 2017 in December.
So the
So,
second time that you left, that was really it.
yeah, that was it.
Okay, you never went back. You cut ties with this guy, and you just was like, I am done, done. Probably never gonna be in a relationship again. Probably feeling, I don't know. What was your thought process at the time? I mean, probably was pretty devastating.
Oh, it was embarrassing, honestly, because, I was online doing my business thing, and everyone and their mom knew we were engaged. And from the outside, it looked perfect because that's what you put on social media. But on the inside, it was like, oh,
You're like, oh
this
shoot,
sucks.
oh goodness
Yeah.
grace, yeah, because you were again. This is why I want to tell women, listen, you know, I get it. I get it. I get it. Like, we don't want to lay out all of our dirty laundry. But if you're in a situation like this, like if you're really in a situation like this, tell someone, get help. Because what I realize, and you can explain, you can say this to them too, it doesn't get better. It doesn't
No.
get better. And matter of fact, it actually starts getting worse. So if there are already those whispers and those signs, that's like you said, that's whatever you believe in, but that is a sign. That's a sign like get out. So you did get out. You did find yourself. What happened? Like, were you like? How did you go from getting out of such a toxic relationship? I mean, that's a very intense, devastating story. And getting out of a toxic relationship to moving forward and continue your career and continue blossoming there and to find your man that you have now. How did that happen? How did you how did that change for you, mama? Like, how did you transfer there?
Well, after things like that, a lot of women can go through and try to grasp for anything for, reassurance, self worth. And so I kind of fell into partying for a couple years while I traveled, which that's all right. And then
That's all right.
eventually,
That's all right.
I,
So you were
yeah,
definitely okay.
that's
So
all
it's not
right.
even that. You were definitely in a place that you're like, oh hell no, I'm not. I'm not. Were you in like, I don't want to be in a relationship. Forget that. That doesn't work. Like, what was your mindset at the time after that? Was it kind of like that, or a little different?
It was pretty much like that. I had to move back in with my family. And so I was 24. So I brought my dog with me. We moved back in.
You moved back
And then,
home. You're like, okay, that's okay. Thank God you get to
yeah,
move back home. So now you found
absolutely.
yourself like, I mean, was it to you? You had just a different mindset with men, or did you feel like you were trusting yourself more, or you feel like, okay, I'm still not going to trust myself because that was a nightmare?
I went into therapy because I was like, there's no way I can trust myself. And it changed my life completely.
It did.
Yeah.
What was it about it? Well, where were you able to finally find out about yourself that actually really helped you?
I think it was finding, the point, like we did earlier with, where did it start? And then, like, what are some things that you can do now to really hold yourself to a different standard? Where else can you find your self worth? What can you do to help build that? Because when you're in a relationship like that, you have been like sucked dry completely. You're done. And so it's like learning to trust yourself again with the little stuff. Like, it sounds dumb, but like making your bed every day helps you feel accomplished. It's like kind of going to the gym too. Yeah, like taking care of yourself.
So that's what you started doing. It was just little by little, making sure that you were actually looking inwards this time, weren't you? You're like,
Yeah.
okay, what's going on? Why do I keep, like you said, attracting these type of guys, and what can I do to have a different energy, have a different trust in myself? So, but then in the meantime, you're having fun of the time of your life. You're partying like a rock star, partying like
Party
a
like a
rock
rock
star,
star.
partying like fabulous. I would be too, girlfriend, if I was in that situation. So
Yeah.
now you're out, you're partying for 2 years, everything's great, and then what happens? How did you meet this one? This
I
is the husband now, right?
This
This
is
is
the
the
husband.
husband. Okay.
He's pretty
How'd you meet
cool.
Mr. Husband? Tell me that story here.
I met him on the other app for ladies. I met him on Bumble, and we talked for 2 months online, didn't meet, and then eventually we had our first date, and it was like I knew immediately he was different. I went for something different. He's kind of nerdy, but he works out, so he's got like some cool factor, but he still likes video games and all that. But there's just something about him. He was nice, he was polite, and he didn't try to come home with me. He like was like, "Can I see you tomorrow?" And I was like, "Who's this person?"
Who is this? Yeah, go. I've never had that happen before.
Right?
Yes, and so when you met him, okay, so now you're like Miss Single Girl. You already had the obviously 2 years ago you had this bad experience, right? You had this bad experience, and now you're dating this guy. What was it? I know you said he was different and stuff. What was his story? Like, was he already married before, not married? What was his vibe? Like, what was he looking for at the time? Was he just looking for, just to have fun, or was he actually looking for a committed relationship?
He was looking for a relationship. He's a relationship guy.
He's a relationship guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then, okay, so then when you were able to get with him, and as time was going by, getting to know him, what was your love story? Did that go fast too, or was a different fast? Like, how did that work with you two?
It was definitely a different fast. So we had our date like on a Friday. Saturday morning, we went rock climbing. He was like trying to catch me when I would fall off the rocks because I was not very good. I was trying to
Okay.
impress him.
Yeah.
And I
And
was
this
like,
is
this
like the
guy's
second
kind of
date?
weird. Yeah, it was so fun.
Okay,
It was
okay.
the
It's
second
the
date.
second date, and then what happens? So he's like, so he's like having fun with you, and how long, like, did you guys date and stuff until, he popped the question?
Oh man. So it was April 2021 is when we got engaged. We started dating July 2019. So we dated for a while, but during that time there was craziness. And so we ended up actually moving in together. And it was awesome. We lived in a tiny 1 bedroom apartment. And it just really brought our relationship closer. Like, it's awesome getting to actually have support and have somebody who is like helping you and isn't crazy. I mean, he's
Isn't
crazy in his
crazy.
own way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not crazy.
And what would you say to, everyone who's listening right now? Because in reality is, there are people that we can have true alignment with. And it sounds like with your husband, you had true alignment with, but there's no perfect relationship, right? There's no
Yeah.
perfect relationship. It's really finding someone that you're choosing to do life with, and they're choosing to do life with you, and we're learning how to work with one another. Do you think that's kind of like what you have with him? Do you think that you both were able to help each other, like, grow and learn each other instead of, obviously the opposite, just being completely toxic? Like, I want women to hear that this is possible. Like, you can actually go from, it doesn't matter if you had bad relationship before, toxic relationships before. The reality is, you did the work, mama. You actually did. I mean, really, I'm so impressed with you, because a lot of times people go through those type of situations, right? Like, they go through these toxic situations and they never really pass it. They stay in that space. And what I'm hearing with you is, yes, I was in that space, Charlene, but there was something in me that I knew that, you still had hope for love, maybe not that right then and there, but hope for, right, like, right, seriously, you had hope for love, but not right then and there, but you wanted to explore that so you can go out and have a healthier relationship. Would you say, if does that sound about right?
That sounds like 100% right.
Right.
Completely.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah, and I'm sure with your man now, you were able to, like, see yourself and work through things that you weren't able to do before because you were in such a toxic relationship. That's why having true alignment with someone, it's not about perfection. There's nobody who's perfect. Like, come on, seriously. But
Right.
it really is, right? There's not. But
There's
it
not.
really is about, like, learning yourself and learning yourself with another person and how you show up and how you be. Do you think that that's the type of relationship you have now with your man? What is it
Yeah.
like, mama?
Yeah, I mean, we have disagreements. They're not very often, but we actually can talk. It's not an all out, like, drag out raw screaming match, because that's not normal for relationships. But I think but asking for what you want, like, in a normal, like, healthy way, that's completely fine. But I do believe that if women want to go from that to this, like, they have to do the work themselves to also not fall into that trap. Because whenever we first started dating, I still had a little bit of that in me where I was like, oh, I have to, like, win this fight because it's a
Oh,
whole
that's
drag
good
out
you're
brawl.
saying this. Okay, so you had
Yeah.
to really,
But you
so
have to
you had to trust.
heal.
Oh, say more about that. Yeah, had to really trust this process because you already had a lot of stuff from behind. I mean, especially coming from such a toxic relationship, even though he's different, even though you're enjoying him, you had to really watch yourself. So that was something that you were able to do with him. That's what you're saying to me?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be able to check yourself. And I think, like, therapy and healing is essential if you come from that place, because you don't want to drag everything else with you into this new relationship, because that's not him. And so you also too have to do the work, and, like, it's worth it because now those things don't happen, and
They don't
it's
happen
completely
anymore.
different. No.
What is it? What is it that you just literally just adore about this man? What is that thing for you that it just lights you up about him?
There's so many things. I like him a lot.
You're like, girl, we don't have that much
I like, how
time.
much
It's
time
some
you
good
got, girl?
stuff. How much time you got?
I love so I got my dog with my ex, and I'm like, that's why I stayed. I took that dog with me when I left. And the fact that, like, we don't have kids yet, but I get to see him be like an amazing dog dad. I get to also see him an amazing, like, he's like a godfather to his godson. And getting to see all of that and the patience he has, the love he has for, like, fun and playfulness, I need that in my life because I'm such, like, go, go, go all the time. And I think that he gets to bring that out of me. And I just love, like, his like love for life and just how patient he is, because if he's married to me, he needs
He's
that.
got a lot of patience, and he's your guy.
Yes.
And don't you feel okay? That's a good question. Don't you feel then there is somebody for everyone? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there is somebody for everyone because we're all different, right? We're all different, and it's just finding in time who that is. Because look at Lou. You already said to me, and ladies, listen to this. Listen to her story. She already said to me that she loved the bad boys back in the day. She had the toxic relationship. She didn't have all, these skills that we think we have because we learn that when we're with the right guy. We actually get to learn ourselves. Good relationships actually really reveal so much about us, so much about, how we show up and all that stuff. And obviously bad relationships too can reveal all the other stuff. So it's possible, it's amazing. And how did this all happen when you were with your guy and you're building your business? Where does he play a part in your success in your business? Has your business really expanded because of the relationship that you have with him? Where does that come? Because I know you told me before that you're already successful, but you're obviously, catapulted into a different level now.
Yeah.
Did that have anything to do with your man, Mama?
I'm 100%. Yeah. I love
Explain this. Tell us why.
He's super supportive, and like this year I've been traveling every 3 weeks. Like he takes care of our dogs, our house. Like there's trust with us, so he's not like, "Hey, where you at? Hey, where you at?" every 5 seconds. Which if you've been there, you get it. There's trust, and it's like he takes care of the little details that I miss in our business. And it's just so nice because we both have a love for wellness and people and gut health and just helping people feel better. And so, like, to get to actually do that together instead of just me by myself going on all these fun things, like, it's amazing getting to do that together. And I thought
You
it
do
was
it
good
together.
single. Yeah. I thought it was good
That's
single. It's so much
fabulous.
better.
That's fabulous because you're so passionate. Tell us what you're passionate about and why you're passionate about gut health. Like, why are you doing what you're doing in your career? Like, what? Because I know I've talked to you before and I can see your passion with this. And it's like, it's your jam, Mama.
Yeah, I
Why
love
is
it.
this your jam?
It's my jam. So I came from fitness and I still teach it. But, you can be all fit and crushing it. But if you're like bloated a lot, struggle with some sleep issues, you're tired, you can't focus, and you're like, well, I never know if my stomach's going to like me or hate me. Like that's where I was at, even though I like cheered, played softball and all that. And then I found gut health at 19. And it took me on my journey to becoming a health coach. I also hold other stuff with like weight management, fitness, nutrition, but my love is like simplifying gut health, simplifying healthy, and helping women take back control of their health and their life. Because if you're not feeling good, like you can't show up with your kids, with your spouse, with your job for the things you want to do, fully yourself because you're like, I never know how I'm going to feel. So
Correct.
I love it. It's so fun.
And you know what? And that's amazing that you said that because that actually has a lot to do with like if you are, it really goes to women in general, not just women and men, of course, but if you are a woman and you are not feeling great, if you are like struggling and you just not having that confidence, sometimes we have to look inwards and really see, okay, what is going on with us? And I hear a lot, and I'm not very familiar with gut health, so I'm learning from you, but I hear a lot that just plays such a big role. It's not just the gut health; it messes with your overall wellness, doesn't it? And how you actually feel, and how
Yeah.
isn't it mess with like not having clarity, like being real clear in your thoughts and your presence? Is that true?
Yes,
Or am
brain
I just
fog
making that
is
up? Because
real.
that's what I heard. I'm thinking.
No, it's so real. Brain fog is real. Women who deal with like coming from situations like that or just life, like, that anxiety that you feel, like if you work on your gut, it actually can really, really help those symptoms become less. And it's just amazing the connection with, your gut, your brain. It's
Mind,
awesome.
body, and soul, how it just helps
Yes.
everything. Yeah, that makes sense. So, what would you say? I mean, oh my God, this has been, do you know how fast this went? I can't even believe how fast this went. Like, seriously, you're adorable. I want to
Thank
hear more.
you.
But do you, like, before we, like, actually, like, wrap it up, what would you say to someone that is really looking, they're in a time in their life and they haven't had the best luck, and they're kind of feeling like, I don't know, girlfriends, I don't know. I don't know if it's in the cards for me. What would you say to her? Like, what would you say to her? Because I'm noticing, just like I said earlier, how beautiful your story is of having all the bad relationships, but in the end, being able to go through. And I feel that there's hope. So, what would be your biggest takeaway that maybe she can hear that you can tell her?
I would
And that's a
say
big question. I
that's a
know.
big
Sorry.
question.
I know. We're like, damn, girl, that's some deep stuff. No, but I want women.
Oh gosh.
But seriously, I just want your authenticness. I just want to know, like, what do you think if she finds herself prior being in that position that you were in prior, kind of like, I don't know, that was bad. I'm not sure. If she's there, what do you think?
I would say 100% like go to therapy. And a therapist is like a personal trainer. You try them out until you like them. So keep going. Find your person, stay there, heal, because you're going to attract the same person unless you heal that need inside of you, you know? And then you're going to find different people. There is a big difference with the men that I used to date whenever I was like, I need that validation. I need to feel needed. I need that like toxicness that I can't live without you. And then now that I've done the work, and y'all, it was years. Like, it might take you a little bit. That is okay. It's worth it. But just keep going because, you will come out of it stronger and a very different woman. And then you're going to attract different and you're going to do things differently. Yeah, your energy is just so different. So commit to that process of healing because you just never know what's on the other side of that. Life can be
Oh,
so.
I love that, Mama. Oh, I love that you said that. Oh, thank you for saying that. Take the time for yourself to heal, to clear, to do that for yourself and realize that it's okay. Like sometimes, it takes a little time, but that's okay. But that's the time that you need to take for yourself. And when you go and you go inwards, you're able to come out with a different perspective, with a different energy, and when it's like a whole new world, like right, like it's a whole. You're part of
That's
wow,
accurate,
like
accurate.
this is wow. I can see clearly now the rain. It's like something that I
Yes,
bet you it felt like that for you. You're like wow, oh
yes.
my goodness. Well, that was fantastic. Thank you so much. No, seriously, you are really going to touch so many women with your story. It's so relatable. And I just love how you've been able to continue and having this amazing relationship with your man and such a successful career and really helping people. I love how you help people. I love how you help people with gut health and feeling healthy. You're absolutely amazing. And I got to have you back on. We're going to talk more. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mama. Is there anything else before we end it today that you want to say?
I think just that it's totally up to you, what your life looks like next. So it can be amazing.
It can be amazing. And there's a thank you so much. Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much, Mama. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap. What an amazing interview I had with Jordan and how she went from those toxic relationship after toxic relationships and how her life has completely changed and how she has been able to find the love of her lives. That was just extraordinary. And if you're loving this podcast and these fabulous conversations, please hit the subscribe button and leave us a 5-star review because each week I'm going to bring on guests that share everything when it comes to love, dating, relationships, so you can apply it into your own love life. I'll see you next week. And until then, cheers to great love.